Good morning to all our beautiful subscribers all over the globe. This is your amazing channel, remembering of course greatest, and I'm your host, our man. We want to thank all our viewers all over the globe for the unwavering support you have been giving to this channel. We really appreciate it. Thanks. For those new viewers, please don't forget to click the subscription button and click the notification bell so as to get all the subsequent interesting videos we'll be posting on this channel. Today we are going to discuss another important topic, and it has to do with France. The question here is, why are African countries saying France out, France out, France out? Obviously, the puppet governments are still mute, but the revolution continues. We are going to give you a very interesting interview that was held or conducted by Al Jazeera TV with the prominent Dr. Arikana Chihombori, the former permanent representative of the African Union to the United States of America from the year 2016 to 2019, after she was sacked based on her remarks about the exploitation that is going on in Africa by France. Let's get to that interview. From there we will react more. I'm your host, Omar Mendy. If you are new on this channel, don't forget to click the subscription button and click the notification bell.
Problem for the West, for sure. I think the West did not see it coming. However, it was very naive of the Western nations to think that the exploitation of Africa was going to continue unabated forever. The West is definitely, if I may use four-letter word, not so kind, they may be pissing in their pants, because what's happening in Africa is indeed a revolution, and a revolution that's way past due.
So you see it as a revolution, but what kind of revolution is it, in the sense that do you think this is throwing off repression from France, from the United States, from other nations? What kind of revolution do you see as underway?
Well, I like to think, if I were to use the biblical terms, this is a revelation among black people. They're waking up and realizing that what has been happening is wrong, is wrong, is wrong, and change must come. And for true change to come, it must be brought by the people. What you are seeing is an African electorate that is now awoken, that is informed. They understand the real issues. In the past, Africans have been misinformed, misled, and given false information, and being thrown a shiny object and being told only the African heads of states are the problem. But now they understand the invisible hand and the role that the invisible hand is playing to make sure that Africa remains where they want Africa to be. The African heads of states, particularly those heads of states of the former French colonies, majority of them were just puppets put in place to continue the same French legacy, which basically boxed them in, where it said you have no control of your military, you have no control of your natural resources, you have no control of your finances, and if you continue from those three areas, you are free to rule your country any which way you want. What power does that president have? And in the past, any president that has tried to buck the system and do something about taking control of the financial resources, and I'm talking about African countries depositing their bank reserves with France. I'm talking about African countries giving up their natural resources, no value addition, France having first right of refusal for all the natural resources discovered yet to be discovered, France companies having first right of refusal for all contracts, large, small, private, public, France having military presence in those countries, and France having the ability to invade them in the event that they feel their interests are being violated. France making sure that those countries can only be trained by France, the military can only be trained by France. The military equipment can only be bought from France. Come on now.
Welcome back from that interview. This is very sad and disheartening. For how long is this going to continue? The clock is ticking. But as we speak, Mali is gone, Burkina Faso is gone, Niger is gone, and now Senegal is also going. So France is losing. France is losing. And basically, if you look at it, look at the level of exploitation that is going on here. France buys uranium from Niger for 98 cents per kilo, and they are selling it to other European countries for $200 per kilo. And the people of Niger are starving. The people of Niger are underdeveloped. They do not even live a life of dignity. No wonder they wanted Bazoum to remain in power. But people are awake, Africans are awake, and this will not continue to happen. Anyway, let's go back to Senegal. Senegal is basically the administrative center for French imperialism and colonialism in Africa. Precisely West Africa. Senegal is the country that the French administration used to be able to colonize other countries in Africa. With the help of Ivory Coast, French imperialism has been cemented, especially with their special puppet called Félix Houphouët-Boigny. These things have been going on. Several coup d'etats were plotted in these countries and then executed. We know about all these things. Now, after how many decades of independence, we've known the secret that many of these presidents were handpicked by the French administration, from Léopold Sédar Senghor to Abdou Diouf, down to Abdoulaye Wade, and even Macky Sall. However, since Senegal regained her independence, we have not seen a clearly anti-French presidential candidate like Ousman Sonko, who would come out, express the hatred he has for the French administration, the injustice that is going on in his country, and his quest to end this injustice. It is highly unprecedented. And the French, in relation to the Senegalese government, that is the administration of Macky Sall, fought tooth and nail to make sure that he does not have any role to play in the administration of the country. But to their surprise and dismay, he is now the Prime Minister of Senegal. And he is also the kingmaker of Senegal. Let's see and hear what he has to say about France and their exploitative system.
It is high time for France to lift its knee off our neck and put an end to this unjust oppression. Centuries of misery, human trafficking, colonization, and neocolonization have caused immeasurable suffering. It's time to put an end to this cycle of oppression. It's high time for France to leave us alone. It's time for France to take a cue from its European neighbors and learn a valuable lesson in independence. Germany is the leading economic power in Europe, significantly surpassing France, which is ranked as the third or fourth largest economic power globally. Germany does not exploit any country, any colony. I can mention Italy, I can mention Spain, who had colonies before, but who do not exploit anyone, who do not interfere, who do not impose leaders in their former colonies. On what grounds does France believe it can continue to impose leaders on us and make choices on our behalf? This must come to an end. And the emerging Africa, the African youth, the African elites, and the African diaspora all stand united in saying no, it cannot continue any longer. France's hypocrisy is evident and pervasive in daily life. Let's examine the cases of Mali and Chad as prime examples of this hypocrisy. In Chad, where the constitutional process has been interrupted, France applauded and its president visited to officially consecrate the new king's coronation ceremony. In Mali, where it is not the constitutional process that has been interrupted, but the transition process, France has condemned and even packed up its things to say that it is leaving Mali. That's hypocrisy. It's the double standard. It is the double language that France employs in its dealings with Africa. During our questioning of Mr. Jean-Yves Le Drian regarding the situation in Ivory Coast and France's decision to allow a third term, he provided a clear explanation. He stated that while he accepted the third term for Ouattara, he refuses it for Belarus. He emphasized that France has condemned the situation in Belarus and has actively encouraged the European Union to do the same. Le Drian explains that in Belarus, millions protested, unlike Ivory Coast, where there were no mass demonstrations on the streets. This is how France deals with African issues. Personally, we expect absolutely nothing from France. We desire her to cease meddling in our matters so that the people of Senegal can exercise their freedom of choice rather than being influenced by France's selection of a candidate using the tactics we are aware of. We begin by targeting individuals, adorning them with the Legion of Honor or a similar knightly rank, enlisting them in Masonic lodges, and informing them to prepare themselves as they will be next in line. Even the hypothesis that Macky Sall may not succeed, we know who is being prepared by France. This must come to an end. It will not occur in this manner any longer. Let's be clear. We have absolutely nothing against the French people. In France, both political and citizen voices are rising to hold and express the same discourse as the one I'm currently presenting to you. For example, the deputies, such as Mrs. Frédérique Dumas, who regularly speaks on the platform of the Assembly, who regularly writes to the Minister of Foreign Affairs, since she is a member of the Foreign Affairs Committee, to raise this unfair behavior of France towards Africa, hold the same speech as us. The same Mr. Jean-Luc Mélenchon, Jean-Paul Lecoq, André Chassaigne, all deputies, hold the same discourse as us, and hundreds of other voices. The NGO NGOs, like other non-profit organizations, are doing remarkable work in the same direction. We strongly urge France to listen to the voices that speak to it about our plan for a more collaborative, fairer, and sustainable partnership between Africa and France. It is crucial that we work together towards a future that is equitable, just, and environmentally conscious. If she listens, I believe we'll have beautiful days ahead in our collaboration together. If he doesn't know how to cut it, thinking he can continue to function like in the time of our grandfathers, this African youth no longer accepts it. France must make preparations for a definitive break and completely withdraw from Africa. Africa belongs to Africans, not France. She belongs to no one else, neither China, nor the United States, nor anyone else.